every entity that we know, they just copy and plagiarize our ancestors.
Yeah.
Listen, man, if you don't know that the majority of the stuff in world history came from black, shame on you, because even rock and roll,
I'm surprised he said it. The man is trying to be the most inclusive.
No. For me, it's not about being inclusive and PC. It's just, let's look at women now in pop culture, right? What's the trend for women now in pop culture?
If you ain't twerking, you ain't shit.
Fuck all that. I'm not even talking about that. I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about, what are women trying to look like nowadays? Right? What are white women and non-black women trying to look like nowadays?
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy you brought it up.
Right now, hold on. So right now we're in a stage where we see something else being, like, literally in front of our eyes, being taken from black culture, right? So we have all these non-black women that are, you know,
lip fillers,
filling their hips, filling their ass, filling their lips, going out in the sun and tanning.
Always trying
you know
to
what I'm saying? So it's like, it's happening in every single generation where stuff is being taken from black civilization, from black African original people.
Yeah.
You know
I'd just like
so it
to,
just doesn't end.
to add to that, like, just give some context. Like, in the past, we all know what the beauty standard is for a model.
Oh,
right.
You know, it would be, you had to be skinny, white,
straight hair,
flat ass.
you know, and like spoke about how they're stealing our stuff.
changing colors of their eyes and doing all that.
Nagoose talked about how they're stealing our stuff.
Right.
You know, and like, they're stealing our stuff because now they can use science to replicate what blacks have.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Naturally.
Yeah.
You know, they're injecting themselves, they're going to the laboratory, they're doing the most to steal our features.
Yeah.
You know,
and it's
still call us ugly.
It's blatant now too, right?
Yeah.
It's blatant. It's like, I feel like there was a period where it was blatant in ancient history where they literally chopped off the noses of statues back then. Then there was a period where it's subtle. You know, okay, let's do this. Let's steal this rock and roll type shit. Let's see. Okay, Africans did this when they were dancing and singing and making these types of sounds of music. We're gonna take this, go to a different part of the world, and invent it, and it'll be known as ours, right? Yeah. And now we're at another period where it's like, like I said, the example is the women going outside tanning to turn our color. They're filling themselves with whatever to acquire our features. So it's like it was blatant, then it was subtle. Now it's just blatant again, straight in your face. So they're not even trying to hide it anymore.
No,
I know. Yeah, and just to even give more examples to what speaking about, like,
right. You're good, man. You're good.
To give more examples about what Nagoose is speaking about. Like, I'll cite two. We all know Ronald McDonald with McDonald's.
Okay.
You know, he's the caricature for Mickey D's.
Ait, that nigga has an afro, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He has an afro.
But they do that with a lot of clowns
red
and
lips.
stuff like that too.
That was my second point.
Oh shit!
I'm happy you brought that up.
Okay.
You know, like, they make it look bad that having Afrocord features is bad, but they just monopolize it.
They use it in everything.
Everything they do.
Yeah, man. It's to my point with democracy. I don't want to dwell too much on that, but this month was supposed to talk about real African history and the contributions of the African people to the world. So in terms of my term about democracy, to me, democracy was practiced in ancient Egypt, and I forget which exact dynasty, but it was practiced in ancient Africa, where before it was even mentioned in Asia, in Europe, right? And the one thing I want to mention about democracy back then was that, and this is in the book Destruction of Black Civilization by Chancellor Williams, and I read a book review of a white historian that verified a lot of things that Chancellor Williams did say. So it's not like Chancellor is some rogue black power nut that wants to credit everything to black folks, right? He was a real researcher, and he dedicated his life to studying African history. So one point I want to make about democracy is that the way it was practiced back then, people took it serious. So there were elders that were so they were elected, right, by the people, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what demo means.
Elders were elected, they were chosen. Well, elders were elders, and they were the representative of certain groups, of certain communities. So they would all go out to so there were dynasties, right? Which were ruled by emperors and
Yes. Yeah.
what's another word for emperors? What did they call them back then?
Nasubati is one word.
Right.
Not like pharaohs or any of that stuff.
Yeah, whatever word you want to use to
That's the Indo-European word.
Word. Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They can't pronounce multi-syllable words.
Well, I can't pronounce multi-syllable words. But forgive me. So my point about democracy was that the people took it seriously. So whenever like emperors and rulers would seem to, let's say, stray and get power hungry, the people would step up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right?
Bring them back. Yeah.
And even emperors that saw that when people were getting complacent about certain things, they would actually call it out,
Yeah.
right? Which to me shows that the power was actually in the people's hands.
Yeah.
And you
You
see
know what
how
I'm saying?
they reversed it here to say how kings and queens all have
Well,
the last say or the full say. You
Well,
know what I'm
But
saying?
for Europeans,
That's
for Europeans,
yes.
it was
Right.
That
Was
was
like that, yes.
right, and that's the difference. No,
Yeah.
that's a very good point because that's the difference now.
Yeah.
Because democracy now, the way we know it, they literally tell you like to run for anything in Ontario, where we're from, you need to raise a certain amount of money,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So right there, it's like if you
Yeah,
don't even got the
well,
money, like you don't even worry about it,
Yep.
right? So it's funny how, for me, the irony comes from a lot of people claiming democracy started in ancient Greek civilization, but then like that term was being used, not used, the practice, because I'm not sure if they used the exact
No,
term
they
in
didn't
ancient
use the
Africa,
term.
but that practice was being done in these ancient Egyptian dynasties, and the way it was done was democracy in its purest form.
Yeah.
Right? Where the power was actually in the people's hands. And when you look at democracy today, it's like, if you ain't got the money, like don't even consider it. You know what I'm saying? And now big corporations, depending on who's lobbying for who, you're the one that's making decisions, and you have the power over the people, right? The people don't have the power anymore. You have the power over the people in today's world. I understand that you get to vote and a lot of that stuff they say matter, but do we really have the power after we vote?
Exactly.